What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Total Turn Buckle Talk. And today, we just got off of episode of Smackdown, and we are ready to review and discuss Raw and Smackdown. Buckle in, guys. We're going to talk about some crazy events. Now, of course, this actually was, the last, real pay-per-view, not pay-per-view, but live event before the PLE Saturday Night's main event, which does consist of John Cena's final match against Gunther, which is something. Before we do continue with that, I do want to comment on the whole John Cena and Gunther situation. Here's my full opinion on that. Right? Okay, so my take on the whole John Cena and Gunther situation. I don't like it. I don't like it a single bit. I truly think that John Cena, there should have never been. I don't think Gunther should have ever been, in the contest. I mean, there's no reason for him to be there, right? Him and John Cena, they don't have much chemistry from what I've been saying. That's just my opinion. I would have loved to see LA Knight face John Cena. I have been hearing rumors that LA Knight's getting a big push in 2026, but let's be honest with ourselves here, guys. LA Knight's not getting a push anytime soon. I'm not getting a big push anytime soon, because let's face it. And I could be wrong, but let's just face it. If LA Knight won that Money in the Bank briefcase in 2023, we would have been in a very different situation right now, because then WWE and TKO would have actually made the right move in pushing LA Knight then when they actually had to. But nonetheless, Gunther is his last opponent, and I kind of just wanted to comment on that because I'm not the biggest fan of it, but that is the current situation outlook. But let's hop right into Monday Night Raw. Okay, so I have the card right next to me on the side here. First thing, I think this was the main event. Logan Paul defeats LA Knight via pinfall with a frog splash. I'm reading off this article by CBS Sports. During the match, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed came out to ringside, but the Masked Man emerged again, helping set Knight up for a Paul frog splash to get the victory. After the match, Breaker hit Knight with a spear before a pair of tsunamis from Bronson Reed. After the match, Breaker cut a promo claiming that when he faces CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship, he wants the old CM Punk, not the current nice guy. The cameras cut to backstage where Reed and Paul continued the assault on Knight before Reed hit a tsunami onto Knight while he was on the roof of a car. Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit here. So Logan Paul defeats LA Knight via pinfall. To me, this is just completely burying LA Knight in the ground. I mean, again, what did I just say? There's been rumors of LA Knight getting a push in 2026, but let's just be honest with ourselves here, guys. It's not as likely as, we want it to be, because LA Knight has been getting buried a lot. And I think this match perfectly proves that LA Knight wins by frog splash, again, due to that Masked Man. And yes, it probably is Austin Theory. That YouTube short that I made earlier, no, it's not Chris Jericho. It's Austin Theory, guys. No way Chris Jericho can climb the cage that fast. And it also just moves. He's very agile, just like Austin Theory. So it's got to be him. I mean, if we're going to push Austin Theory, it's got to be now. But yeah, that's okay. I'm not too glad that we're burying LA Knight as much as we are, but you know what? That's how it's going. And I think we all have to, kind of accept that, because that's the way that WWE's going right now. Okay, what else happened on WWE Raw? Okay, Gunther opened up the show, saying that he's going to beat Cena. Again, I actually literally just commented on this whole situation before I want to comment on this. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Gunther, being John Cena's final opponent, but that's just a pill I do have to swallow, and I'm going to have to deal with it for tomorrow. I'm not going to be on Joe's stream for the play-by-play, but I will be making some shorts and videos about it, definitely 100%. Don't worry, I'm not going to cover that in some way, shape, or form, either shorts or long-form videos. I want to do something, don't worry. Yeah, but Gunther basically just came out, talk crap by John Cena, said he's going to rip his head off, whatever. The casual Gunther stuff, right? I mean, that's kind of stuff that we should expect from Gunther. We've seen Gunther, transform his personality from when he's back in NXT, right? I mean, Gunther is now, I mean, now we would I think we have to classify him as a main event star, you know? He is really, um he's really grown into, his skin. He's doing a great job as this heel character, but if I'm being honest, I am getting a little sick of him, and again, I really don't want him as John Cena's final opponent. Okay, next, Io Sky defeats Kairi Sane via pinfall. That's fine, bro. That's totally fine. Although I love Kairi Sane, Io Sky takes a win on this one. Take it and run, because Io Sky has been getting buried a little bit, and I love Io Sky, and I don't think that that's very nice. So, but yeah, I'm glad that we got that sorted out. Okay. World Tag Team Championships, AJ Styles versus Dragon Lee retain the titles versus the Viking Raiders via pinfall. Yeah, I don't really have too many complaints with this. Although I do really like the Viking Raiders. I think they are a talented group of people, especially especially in the now today era. I think they're kind of a modern day, they're kind of like two Yokozunas, if I'm being real. I mean, I know it's hard to compare Yokozuna's legacy, but I do think that they can be up there as a modern day version of them, right? I mean, they're powerful, they're powerhouses, and they're definitely that kind of person on the roster right now. I mean, 100%. I mean, I don't think they're ready to be the champions just yet on this random episode of Monday Night Raw. If you're gonna make them the champions, make them on a big stage, not on Raw, But I'm totally fine with AJ and Dragon Lee retaining these, because I think AJ's time is definitely running out, because he's retiring in 2026, and I think we should give him as much as we can give him. Raquel Rodriguez confronted Stephanie Vaquer. I'm reading off of this. Vaquer said that she talks through actions rather than words before Nikki Bella came up to a ring demanding a rematch after losing at Survivor Series. Before Bella could get too far, Rodriguez entered the picture and threw Bella into the ring post before coming face to face with Vaquer. So Nikki Bella and Stephanie Vaquer, as we all know, which I actually covered with Mama Jama, with Joe, and also with my good friend Dashel. I covered a play-by-play of Survivor Series. Stephanie Vaquer versus Nikki Bella, fantastic match. That entire Survivor Series pay-per-view was top to bottom just fantastic. But Stephanie Vaquer retained her title, which I'm not surprised about, and I'm glad she did. I think Nikki Bella already had, her prime run back with 2000s, and I'm glad that we're not going backside just yet, and we're letting these younger talent kind of take over, and that's totally fine by me. But yeah, this new talent that's facing Stephanie, Raquel Rodriguez, again, totally fine with this. I don't have a lot of problems with the stuff that they're doing now, because they are bringing up talent and putting them on the main roster, especially if we're doing new stuff with the Judgment Day that we haven't been doing before, because the Judgment Day, as we know, they're not the same as they were in 2023. They don't have the original members, and they certainly don't have Edge anymore. So they are a different kind of faction now, and WWE has kind of been burying them for the past couple months, past year. I know that they had their reigns with some titles, like they do hit some peaks, but then they just drop all the way, back to that bottom. Speaking of the Judgment Day, last thing that happened was Roxanne Perez defeats Lyra Valkyria via pinfall. Again, right move. Have Roxanne win this. Although I do think that they're both very talented individuals. I do think that we do need to establish the Judgment Day as a stronger heel faction right now, rather than bring up Lyra Valkyria. And also kind of just showcase Roxanne Perez, because the spotlight is on her right now, considering everything that's happening with, Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. But yeah, that's it for Monday Night Raw. If you guys have any thoughts about that, leave them in the comments. I think that episode, honestly, fine. It wasn't like crazy engaging or anything, but there's some good matches, good calls. I'm glad that these people won, except for Gunther, because I don't like Gunther. I don't think he should have been John Cena's final opponent, but you know what? Whatever. We are going to move on to our SmackDown portion of this live stream. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the show kicks off with Cody Rhodes and Oba Femi coming out to have a promo. The first time that these two have had a promo in the ring, because they are facing each other tomorrow at Saturday night's main event, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So they basically just came out. Obi just said, "I'm gonna crush you," and then Cody said, "I'm gonna crush you," and then they kind of stared each other down. Nothing. I can't really commentate on this here. The only thing I can say is that although Cody Rhodes is my favorite wrestler, I mean, my favorite wrestler and the greatest of all time is John Cena. But my favorite wrestler, like right now, it's like active, is Cody Rhodes because he's just so charismatic. But I do think that this title reign right now is getting a little stale. I think that we do need some more competition. I do think that Drew McIntyre should be champion right now because, again, these promos with Rose are getting stale. I'm sorry, dude. They just are. And Cody Rhodes has opened up SmackDown for the past couple weeks, and it's just been the same stuff over and over again. We need something different. If you guys agree with me, leave it down in the comments down below. But I think they show off Rhodes' personality very well, but I do think that we need a change on the roster, some new talent, and someone to take the title off of him so that he can take a break, he can stop being the quarterback, and he can refine his character or maybe come back as someone slightly different. Ilya Dragunov versus Tommaso Ciampa, a match that Ciampa was demanding for a long time, and he finally got it, and Ilya Dragunov retains this with help from Carmelo Hayes, because we all know that Tommaso Ciampa and the rest of DIY are cheaters. They're heels, standard heels, so they're obviously going to try to cheat in their match, and they did, but then Carmelo Hayes said, no, you guys aren't going to do that, and I'm going to help Ilya Dragunov win this match. I think, for me, I think that this establishes Carmelo Hayes not only as this, good person heel, but also just as a solid wrestler, a solid regular SmackDown wrestler. He's now fully in that SmackDown rotation, He really came up from NXT. He's doing a fantastic job on the main roster right now. I mean, he really is. But I'm glad that Ilya retained the title. I think Ciampa had his time. I know he's not like super old, but like I think Ciampa definitely had his time. That Ilya is a fantastic competitor on the mic, in the ring, technically. He makes all of his matches so engaging. Ilya actually, his nose was either broken or busted open out throughout the match because there was blood all over the ring during this match. It was gruesome, but it was probably the most entertaining match on the card. And I have to say, with most of these SmackDown cards, Ilya's matches are usually on the top because they're so freaking good. He just puts on a show every single match, and it's hard to deny that. But yeah, Ilya retains. I'm glad he is because he is a very talented wrestler. Sorry about that. Okay. Wyatt 6 and the MFTs have a promo. Again, not too much surrounding that. I've always kind of had a thing for the Wyatt 6. I really love them because I used to love Bray Wyatt. Rest in peace. Bray Wyatt was the person that got me into wrestling. That was the specific wrestler that got me into WWE, and I'm just glad that he is getting some more recognition, because he truly was, that he had so much talent. He was so good in the ring. He kept everyone so engaged, and he really carried 2020 on his back. That was some of WWE's darkest times. Not darkest times, but it was some of the hardest times for WWE because the entire sport literally is physical contact. With COVID-19, you have to stay 6 feet apart. There were like no people in the crowd. Everyone was behind glass barriers. It was just so inconvenient. And the stuff that they could do with Bray Wyatt now, because they could like pre-edit the shows and everything, it just looked fantastic. And I'm so glad that we have this faction built around him. Rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. MFTs and Wyatt 6, I think, are a great combination, considering the MFTs, they need some more good competition, and so do the Wyatt 6, frankly. I liked what they had going on at SummerSlam, but it kind of ended there, and I'm glad that we are switching it up with the MFTs. I'm fine with this. Okay. Alexa Bliss versus Lash Legend, and Lash Legend picks up the win on this one. Not surprised. I'm not surprised by this at all, actually. Although my personal pick, I would have loved for Alexa Bliss to win the match. She didn't, and Lash Legend won the match. And that's fine, but I do think that we need to slow the horses on Lash Legend a little bit. Because, there are some people backstage that, they work really hard and they don't get the opportunities that Lash Legend is getting right now. And now, no shade towards Lash Legend whatsoever. I just think they're pushing her a little fast, right? I think we need to give her time to sizzle into the main roster a little bit before we just go full on send Lash Legend into the big pond with all the big fishes, But I mean, Lash Legend and Alexa Bliss are obviously both very talented wrestlers, and I would have been fine seeing either one of them win this match. And I am glad we're putting younger talent, like Lash Legend over, but I would prefer Alexa Bliss because I'm always a sucker for a good heel, good face. Okay, Javon Evans versus The Miz. This is a surprise matchup that got announced earlier in the night, and it was Javon Evans. I just want to say one cool thing about Javon Evans real quick. I mean, he is bouncy, no pun intended, but he is. I prefer Javon Evans over Montez Ford, and that might be a hot take because they're both very similar in terms of moveset and agility. But I think Javon Evans is just so much more fun to watch, and he's just so good. The way he flies up there. He's like several feet in the air, and his opponent's just looking up at him the entire match because he's always bouncing around the ring, and his matches are usually also at the top of the match card because they're so entertaining and fun to watch. But yeah, Javon Evans picked up the win. Good job. Good call, WWE. We're not having The Miz have another run right now. The Miz still has a lot in him. The Miz still has a run going for him, but Javon Evans has a whole career ahead of him. So let's put Javon Evans over. Jade Cargill and Michin attack each other on the stage. Okay. I don't really care too much about this. I mean, no shade towards them. They're both very talented women, both very talented people on the roster. But I don't know why this is such a big idea. Well, this is such a big idea. I don't know. I don't really have any feeling towards it. I can't really comment on it because I just kind of want to see where this goes from here. So my throat's very dry. That's why I keep going like that because I have to clear out my throat. Okay. And for the main event of the night, it was Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest versus Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. And Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest picked up the win on this one. Jesus. And I'm so glad they did because you guys all know I'm a fiend and I love Rhea Ripley and I think that she's just so talented and I hate that they were burying her. But now they're bringing her up and she's at the height of her career. And so is Damian Priest because Damian Priest is now being seen as a face because Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest both separated from Judgment Day at separate times. And you know what? They did it so well and the whole fan base loves both of them now. But I do want to talk about Aleister Black and Zelina Vega. I really like them as a couple. I really do. Zelina Vega is the perfect match for Aleister Black. I mean, especially this new dark persona that we're getting from Zelina Vega. A couple months ago, she was all colorful, right? A couple months ago, she was all colorful, if we look back, Backlash 2023, Backlash 2024, Zelina Vega, very colorful outfits, all happy. Ultimate underdog, right? Ultimate underdog winning that women's U.S. championship, right? But now she's taking on a darker persona to fit with Aleister Black. And both Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley aren't. I don't think they're in a relationship, but they, in terms of tag teams, they're both power couples. Both teams are both power couples. They're very well. They work very well together. And I mean, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley just have ultimate ultimate chemistry. Oh my god, they flow so effortlessly in the ring. I think that's because, they have experience together in the Judgment Day. They have experience training together because they were in the Judgment Day, and they were writing them to do all these things together and interfere with each other's matches, so they are nearly each other's movesets. But Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest took the win on this one, and I'm not complaining because I love them. But yeah, nothing else going on. That was basically it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you did enjoy this, please smash like, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications so you never, ever, 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 ever miss another banger of an upload like this. Tomorrow there is John Cena's final match pay-per-view, or PLE as they call it now, Saturday night's main event. So make sure you tune in. Go watch NY Yankee Mania's play-by-play on it. I will probably be in the chat there watching it, but I can't make it to the actual stream. I'll see you there. You can't see me. Yeet. I'll see you guys later. Peace.